Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas and this is how to create a game in Unity, and welcome to episode 49. In this tutorial we're going to focus on allowing our NPC that we brought in last time to walk around and actually perform a route that he would take. So you'll be able to build upon this technical AI a little bit further to get him to do what you would want. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon as well to stay up to date with everything I have on this channel. And with that in mind, let's get our NPC walking. So last time, if you remember, we got to a point where we got into this cube and we'd make him do whatever we needed him to do. I think by the end of it we made him do a little cheer. So we're going to, for now, just turn that off. We'll disable it. And let's figure out where we want this guy to walk. So I think it'd be good to have him walk around this building right here. So if he constantly kind of walks around it, that's his route. So best way to do this is let's bring him to where we would want him to start. So if we take him over here to probably about there maybe. And what we'll do is we will make him walk all the way down here. So in order to do that, we need to work on his animations. So for example, we need to first make sure walk his default animation. So if we press play now, he should inevitably be walking on the spot. And he will more than likely do it forever because we have it looped. So there he is.
Where am I?
So
we
now need to make him walk to this destination right here. And to do that, I guess what we could actually do is use this original cube that we had. So for now, let's actually use this cube. Let's recycle ideas. So let's turn it back on, but turn off this NPC script. So let's right click and remove component. Next, what we'll do is bring the cube over here. And I'm going to leave it with a mesh renderer and a box collider on so we can see what is actually going to happen. So in order for all this to work, what we'll need to do is create a C# script. And we'll go into character right here within script. In fact, I'm in the wrong folder. I should be in scripts here, and we won't bother placing it in a folder. We'll actually just do it in the main scripting directory. So create a C# script, and we'll call this NPC AI because it is just basic AI to a degree. So we're going to make him walk on technically a specified route. You could use something like NavMesh for this, and I've done a couple of NavMesh tutorials before if you want to check them out. But in this case, it's not particularly worth it because it is only simple what we're doing here, and it's not too difficult to create. So to get this working, what we're going to need to do is set a couple of variables. So the variables we're going to use are an X position, a Z position, the destination, which is going to be the cube, and the position number. And when I say position number, it dictates what position we're currently walking towards. So let's get rid of any annotations because we don't need them. We never need them, to be honest. And let's start with public int, and we'll have X pos semicolon, public int Z pos semicolon. And we'll also need the destination, so public game object the destination semicolon, and finally the location, so the position number, so public int position number semicolon. So what we'll do now is figure out whereabouts we want our guy to walk to. So by default, he's currently, if we click on him, he's set at this location. So we can see here that we need to use this relative reference. Y is always going to be static at this point unless you have a hill. If you do have a hill, you do need to be aware that you'll need to change this location. So let's set our actual guy to start at 18 and 76, just so we've got nice round numbers, which means that we want him to walk down here. So we'll have this set as 18 and let's say 94. That seem reasonable? Okay, 18 and 94. So we'll need to remember those two right now. So in void start, what we'll do is x pos equals 18 semicolon and z pos equals 94 semicolon. You could theoretically have them up here when we first start. It's entirely up to you, but I'm doing it this way so we can see the process of events, which allows us to make him walk around. So 18 and 94, keep those in mind. So next thing we need to do is we need to set the first location. So we need to make him walk to this position. So the destination, which is going to be the cube, dot transform dot position equals new vector 3, because we're dealing in the 3D environment as we've discussed, and it's going to be x pos semicolon. Now we need the y position, and if we remember, we have to use the one that's already preset for him. In this case, it is that, so we'll copy that number, we'll place it here, followed by an f because it is a float, remember, and z pos semicolon. Now what we'll do is position number plus equals 1. So what this now means is that by default our position number should be equal to 1, and we'll set that up here in our variable. So by default it's equal to 1, and as soon as we start the game up, this location will pretty much start, it'll build the cube here. So if the cube's over here, it'll set it here, and we need to make him start walking. After this, the cube itself, the position number, will change. So we'll need an if statement a little later on. So if you have any problems with any of these scripts, then, just kind of, how can I say it, head to the website, do the little cheaty thing, download the script there. So what we need to do here is start a coroutine to do the next location and then every location after. So for that, we'll need start coroutine, and in brackets, we'll just have next location, open close bracket, semicolon. Reason it's come up red is because we've not done that I enumerator yet. So let's move on to the void update, because that's pretty much the start method done. We need to work in the void update method because we need to always ensure that our guy moves towards the destination, and that can be done simply by going transform dot look at, and in brackets, the destination dot transform. So that makes him look at where he's going. Now to make him actually move, we need to go transform dot position equals new vector 3 excuse me. In brackets, we need to state what we're doing. So transform the position. Oh, I've missed off something there. We'll finish this off because I just realized we actually need to move it rather than just the new vector 3. So position vector 3, and we'll need to pretty much state that we're going towards the destination, so i.e. we're going towards the cube. So the destination dot transform dot position, comma, and then the speed at what we're going to move towards. So in this case, let's try something quite low just to make sure we're doing this right. So 0.02 f close bracket semicolon, and after our vector 3 here, what we need to do is change that to dot move towards. So what we're doing is we're stating that we're moving towards this particular well, it is a variable, isn't it, really? Let's get rid of the new as well because we don't actually need that. So sometimes this is one of the classic examples of sometimes getting a little bit confused with how C# can work when, for example, using vector 3. Here we've used a new. Here we haven't. The reason being is because we don't actually need a new one. We're actually moving towards a specific place. So if we save that script now and head back to Unity, what we can do to test all this out, I just realized, because let's just annotate that out for now and save. Basically, we've come up with an error because it doesn't exist. We've stated we need to start something, but it doesn't exist, so we can just get rid of it for now. So let's test out what we've written so far to make sure he moves towards this cube. So we need to go NPC AI, drag him onto there, and then just set the destination, that cube. So NPC activate is the cube that we need. And just to show you how this works, I'm going to drag this cube all the way over here and show you that when we start the script, it will spawn here instead. And we should see our NPC walk towards it. There we go.
Where am I? I need to find a way out of this wood.
So you can see our NPC walking towards it. Now, I think we need to probably speed him up just a little bit. So I'm going to change that to 0.03, save it, and move our FPS a little bit closer so we can observe rather than waste time. Oops, that's got a bit funny there. There we go. It's all right. My terrible mouse skills. So yes, let's move our first-person controller a little bit closer so we can observe and press play. And let's see if he moves at a more appropriate speed.
Where am I? I need to find a way out of this wood.
Still a little bit slow. I'm thinking about changing it to 0.05. So at this point, you would just kind of play test and make sure you get what you need to get. If 0.05 isn't good enough, I'll stick with it anyway, but obviously you would take the time to work with it. But you can see the point of that cube has spawned over there.
Where am I?
Okay, so that looks a little bit better now.
Out of this wood.
So at this point, he may glitch. Yep, he'll walk on the spot. That's because he's reached his destination. So what we can do now is we can advance this a little bit more. So what we want to do is this coroutine. So let's get to work on that. So let's have that back in. And underneath void update, enumerator and next location. Open close bracket, open curly bracket. So in here, this is going to be a set of 4 if statements, and each one of these is going to be relative to the position number. And even though when we start this coroutine, we're going to have the position number as 2 because we've already added here and then we've started, but we still need to do position number 1. So if, and in brackets, position number equals 1, open curly bracket, we need to yield, return new, wait for seconds. So roughly how long do we want to wait for? Let's say about 7 seconds, I think. We'll see how that pans. So after 7 seconds, what we'll do is have the X pos equals to the new position. So what we basically mean here is we need to say that we're going in this direction. So if it's 1, then we need to then set it as wherever it is now, which is 18 and 94. So we have those exact same ones. Z pos equals 94, semicolon. And now what we need to do is make the destination, so that cube, spawn at that location. So we have the destination dot transform dot position, if I spell it right, equals new vector 3, and in brackets X pos semicolon. And we probably could have just copied this line of code, but you know, I kind of forgot. And Z pos. So basically there we go, we're setting that position again. And the final thing we need to do in this if statement is make position number plus equals 1. So this whole if statement is basically repeating what it is in start, but we're adding 1. So really we don't necessarily need what we have in start. We're just kind of running it and then starting the coroutine to loop it round. Because what's going to happen here is once we've got past 1, it will naturally follow on to 2, and then naturally follow on to 3, and naturally follow on to 4. And at 4, we reset to 1 and restart the entire coroutine. So let's take this if statement, copy, paste it, and change it to 2. So at this point, we need to determine at what point we need this to be. So let's take our cube, which is here, set it back to 18 and 94, which was there. Now I want him to walk, let's say, to about there. So we'll have that as 2 and 94. So the xpos is now 2. So head back to the script. Xpos is now 2. And then we can copy all that again down below. And hopefully you can see the idea of what's happening here and the routine that we're going through to achieve what we need. So what we need to do is keep this as 2 now, but also change the position of where we want the Z to be. So what we can do is bring it down to probably about there, which is 76. So it should be 2 and 76. And again, it's doing this, it's setting it, and then increasing the position. And obviously we need to change the position number to 3. So finally, what we do is take the next one, next position, and this will be position equal 4. And then we set the final position of where we want it to be. So we already really know what the X and Z position is of the original. So we just need to set the Z pos here back to 94. So logically, if we move this to about here, oh, it should be 18, sorry. So 18 and 76, my apologies. So 18 and 76. So you see the process of what's happening here. 18 and 94 is position 1, then position 2, then position 3, and then position 4. So we've got him walking in square. If you wanted him to walk in a triangle, you would have 1 less, and you would have it at whatever position you would want him to walk to. If you wanted him to have a more complex route, you would have more. So you could have him, say, walk all the way around here in like a figure 8. So last thing we need to do is in position number 4, after everything is said and done, we need to restart the coroutine. So start coroutine, and in brackets, the one we have. So next location, open close bracket, semicolon, and save. So how will this work now? Will this do exactly what we want it to? Let's take a look, shall we? So this cube is now going to move over here as soon as we start the script, the game I should say, and then it will carry on as normal. So after 7 seconds, it will move. So let's make sure everything is in order here. Perfect. So let's press play and start.
Where am I? I need to find a way out of this wood.
So here we have a glitch. So that glitch can normally be resolved by increasing time. So let's change this to 9 by 9 by 9 by 9. This is the kind of thing you will have to work with because, how can I say it? Like saying with NavMesh, you can have pathfinding. However, there is no point in having pathfinding if he's going to be on a constant static route. There is no point changing it if he is constantly static, as he is now. He will never change his route. If you do want to change his route, I will link to a NavMesh tutorial which you could use. So, hopefully, finally, he should walk this route quite nicely now.
Where am I? I need to find a way out of this wood.
There we go. So we just need to basically work a little bit more with him, that's all. But you can see the idea of how he's working. He'll be walking that route forever and ever. So now he should start walking that way. So I'm going to go one more thing here. So this one should be 10. And I think this one should be 10 as well. So they are kind of relative. So his entire pattern should take 10, 19, 29, 38 seconds now. So I'll let him run his entire route, and then I'll talk about what we're going to do in the next and final tutorial.
Where am I?
Next time,
I need to find a way out of this wood.
There we go. I just want to let myself finish there. So next time, what we're going to have happen is we're going to look at some light probes. we're going to look at some layers, and then we'll also have some final words and final advice on where you can go with game development from here on. There's a lot to it, and I think up until this point, we've been 50 tutorials now, and there's stuff going on. So by this point, if we haven't learned something, then something is seriously wrong. So you can see him walking around to the position. So I think one more thing, I'm going to change this myself actually. So guys, what I think at this point is, if you have your NPC walking and you want him to walk a little better, that's entirely up to you. You take the time, you work with him how you want him, you plan his route, and you'll be able to see. So I'm going to give you one last quick view of this, because I'm going to resume and click on scene view, and we can see above how this is reacting.
To find a way out of this wood.
So you just need to stop the glitch there. That's all you would need to do. So I've given you the mechanics of how this works. It's now up to you to change what you need to change. And guys, until that next episode, thank you very much for watching.